What's up, guys? I'm Eric Harrison from F Ingenious, and welcome to Fuck You Part 2. That would be, of course, Fucking Ingenious Answers Questions, the sequel. Before we get into the Q&A section of the video, I actually want to do a brief history of the origins of how the channel came to be. So, it could be said that the story started way back when I was a teenager, and I always dreamt about having a horror show, kind of a like a horror host show on public access, but that never came to be. It was just a dream. Where it actually could say that it began was around the year 2009. Now, I knew I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I only had a little crappy camera that wasn't worth shit, but I wanted to make videos. I knew I wanted to. The first step, or the first challenge, as you could say, was, what do I want the channel to be called? I remember spending months thinking about it, and I simply could not come up with something I was satisfied with. What I wound up settling on in the beginning was, I called my channel High Demand Media. Yeah, that's just what I settled on since I couldn't think of anything better. So my first official review that I ever did was, I happened to have Friday the 13th Part 7 on hand, so I spent many months, a lot of time, a lot of painstaking hours making a review about Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, on Windows freaking Movie Maker. Okay, I don't recommend that. It's just, that is not a program you want to be editing on if you're trying to do anything remotely serious. Like, if you just want to put a few pictures together and throw it up on YouTube, that's fine, but yeah, stay away from Windows Movie Maker if you can help it. Get something better. It was I don't know, a few years later. I really hadn't made a whole lot of videos. I just didn't have like the resources. It was 2012. I was just kind of like stumbling along one evening when it dawned on me. I was like, Friday the 13th is tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Friday the 13th. I should totally talk about the movies. So I spent all night long just trying to prepare a review about the series so that I could release it on the day, Friday the 13th. It's day of all days.
Friday the 13th.
And yeah, I spent all night working on it, and it would be what I guess you could call my first official franchise review. I remember I wanted footage to go along with my review and what I was saying, but I didn't really know how to go about getting the footage I wanted or needed. So the next best thing was, well, I could just put the trailers for each movie in the video, and that'll be my footage. And thus began the tradition of using the trailer for the movie in a fucking ingenious movie review. In the evolution of the franchise reviews, I wound up doing Nightmare on Elm Street next, because that's another favorite of mine. Again, I only used the trailers, and then it was just me talking to the camera, my laptop to be specific. It still hadn't dawned on me to do anything else with the reviews. I didn't put in pictures, no extra video, and no music. At this point, I was still putting my videos on the High Demand Media channel, and I still wasn't happy with it. I had pretty much no subscribers, it's safe to say, and I was getting almost no views. It's funny to think that once in a while somebody would come on and be like, you have no subscribers and nobody watches your videos, real high demand, ha ha ha. So that got on my nerves, and I decided, that's it, I have to find a better name, I have to. So I spent a few days just trying to work with different words to see if I could come up with some kind of wordplay, intermix words. I had a bunch of names that I was gonna pick from. One of them was Film Salad. I don't remember the others right now, but I was laying in bed and I was literally moving the next day. So I had everything pretty much packed up except my computer, and I was laying in bed trying to go to sleep to get ready to move the next day, and I was just laying there, and it just hit me. It was like, just right there. I was like, I sat up in bed real quick and I was like, fucking ingenious. And the words combined together so I can make it one word. I was like, that's it, that's the one. So I quickly went to my computer. I created a new channel, named it Fucking Ingenious. I wanted to try and get to it before anybody else could think of it. And then I proceeded to take all of my videos, well not all of them, but most of my videos from the old high demand media and put them on F Ingenious. And that's how the channel got started. I originally actually wanted the channel to be comedy. So I would try and do comedy skits. I did a few. I thought they were pretty funny. But as it turns out, I'm really just not like a comedy writer. So I wasn't coming up with as many ideas as I needed to actually make an impact. There was some in there where I have a crank call from Napoleon Dynamite. Look, I gotta go.
Is Pedro there?
I told you no one named Pedro lives here.
Oh, idiot.
Now that's just rude.
Why don't you go eat a decrowed piece of crap?
Hey, you want to start some shit? I'll come and beat your nerdy little ass. There's the subscriber madness one where the subscribe button is in my way while I'm trying to do a vlog. Those were actually all pretty funny, but as it turns out, I just couldn't come up with enough ideas. And so the next thing I thought was, well, I can always do movie reviews. I'm a film student. I love film. I can talk about movies, you know, till the end of time. So that's how I started actually making the movie reviews on the channel. So the next step was I wanted to make them better. And I thought, I don't like just standing in front of a wall doing this. I got to get a green screen. So I did. I wound up buying 2 green drapes from Walmart, putting them on my wall, and voila, I can put any fucking background in I want. So that was the next step in the evolution. That's how the channel came about, and that's where we are now in the history so far of F Ingenious. Let's actually get down to this freaking Q&A. Alright. So, I was really delighted to see that so many of you are actually interested in the process of filmmaking and are thinking about going to film school yourselves. A lot of you have asked me questions about the process of filmmaking or what it's like to go to film school. I will definitely answer those questions to the best of my ability. I just kind of have to say right up front that I am only a film student at the moment, although I have done a few videos for school that you can see on my channel. I've not done, to date, an actual production yet. So I'm only speaking as a student and I can't speak as a professional. But I will definitely answer your questions to the best of my ability. I want to start with Mark Main, who asked numerous questions, so let's get through this. What are your ideas for Child's Play 7 or whatever they are going to call it? My ideas, I don't know if I really have any ideas. It seems like they're on the right track. I really liked Curse of Chucky, and at the end, it did seem like they were setting up questions that they were going to be answering in another movie, in a sequel. So it seems like they're on the right track to me. If they do as good as Curse of Chucky or better, then I'm all about it. Did you see the movie Dead Silence? And if you did, can you review it? I've not seen it. Is that a killer puppet movie? That's my guess. But I've not seen that one. It could get reviewed one day, though. Do you think scary movies and scary games are not sellers anymore? Well, this is a little bit tricky question for me to answer because I'm actually more of an old school horror fan than a new school horror fan. So I don't watch a lot, although I have made a resolution that I need to start watching more new horror whenever I can find the time to get around to it. But it is kind of apparent that at the box office anyway, yeah, horror has definitely taken a big decline in the past decade, which is really a shame. The only thing that seems to be going on horror-wise at the box office for the most part is like paranormal movies. And I don't just mean Paranormal Activity. I mean anything that involves a ghost, a spirit, demon. That seems to be the major horror that gets released in theaters anymore, which is not something I have a big interest in. Unless it's done right, then it can be cool. So from my perspective, it does seem like horror is taking a decline at the box office, which is a bit of a shame. I really like slashers myself. I would love to see a return of the slasher genre. I think it kind of did burn itself out through the 80s and the 90s, even the 70s. It was a genre that went on for a long time. There's like probably thousands of slasher movies. So I don't know, maybe there's nothing left to do in the slasher genre, but I would like to see a return of that. Oh yeah, you were asked about the scary games are sellers anymore. I think scary games are cool. And I think that they have more merit with general audiences now than scary movies. People seem to like scary games. It's more immersive. It's interactive. they take more risks with a scary game than they do with a scary movie release. So horror movies these days seems to be on the decline as far as box office goes. There's still a lot of stuff that goes straight to Blu-ray and DVD, so that's cool. But scary games seem to be doing pretty good as far as you ask me. Do you hate that Google is fucking up YouTube? I do. I do. I don't know. They've just been messing with it for years now. It seems like every month there's a new change. I almost wonder if they're trying to sabotage themselves. It's just kind of weird. I don't know what they're doing or why, and it does bother me. When I say sabotaging themselves, it makes me bring up something else I'm wondering about. I was thinking about this. If Google owns YouTube and Google Chrome is owned by Google, obviously, and they provide ad blocker, why are they trying to block their own ads? Anyway, let's not get into that. Do you like school? I like school now, especially since I'm doing what I want. In the past, school was always a really bad thing. It was a nightmare for me. From first grade on up all the way through high school, it was bad. It was a nightmare. I was unable to focus. I had no interest in doing the work. I tended to get very suicidal and depressed a lot of the time because I didn't want to go, and I had to go, and I was like the lowest of the low as far as the food chain at the school goes. Like, even the nerds picked on me. I was that bad, so I had pretty much no friends, nothing but enemies, hated the work. It was just bad. But now I'm doing what I like. Yeah, I like going to film school, even though it can get kind of challenging. Sometimes they want to ask me to do stuff that at first I'm like, how am I going to do this? But then I wind up doing it, and so I do like it now. Let's go here. Favorite kinds of food you like? That would be seafood. I love seafood for some reason. Fish, crab, lobster, scallops, calamari, sushi. I love all that shit. I don't know why I like seafood so much. Thoughts on Friday the 13th coming out in 2015 and it being found footage? Well, I'm all about a new Friday the 13th movie. Some franchises, even if I like the franchises, I'm kind of like, you've ran your course. You're done now. Just stop. But with Friday the 13th, I don't know what it is. I just love me some Jason so much. I'm like, keep going. Always keep going. I want there to always be Friday the 13th as long as I live. So I'm all about a new one. It being found footage, initially, the idea doesn't sound that great to me, but I think I'm going to hold off judgment until it comes out and give it a chance, give it a view. Christopher Gillian, I'm sorry if I screwed your name up, dude. I'm terrible with names. If you made a horror movie, what would it be about? And he also asked, would you make one review of the Scream TV series pilot? And good luck in film school. The Scream pilot for TV, that's not out yet, is it? I don't think it's out yet. If it is, somebody point me in the direction because I want to see it. But sure, yeah, when the Scream pilot comes out, I'll watch it and I'll give you guys my thoughts on it. I like Scream a lot. I like the whole series. It seems like it could be a good TV series, so fingers crossed. If you made a horror movie, what would it be about? Now, I know I can trust you guys not to steal my ideas, right? No, I trust you guys. And I think, but I don't know. I think that me having documentation like this of saying my ideas maybe could help me legally if anybody tries to steal them. Whatever. They're not even that great. Yeah, I have a few ideas. The first one, I have to admit, I kind of came up with a friend of mine, so it's kind of a co-creation, a co-idea, is something I call The Aggressor. The Aggressor is basically a slasher movie without the knife. It's a guy that he's mentally deranged, but he's not so insane that he can't get by in real life. So he could be your neighbor, he could be the guy that works at the supermarket. But the way that he kills his victims is that he just uses his bare hands and his fists. He'll totally just pulverize your face until it's mush. He's the aggressor. He's all about just brute strength and fucking beating the life out of you. I guess it was just an attempt to bring a little bit of a twist to the whole slasher genre. He doesn't wear a mask. He doesn't have a weapon. It's all about using his bare hands. That could have been done before. If anybody knows, let me know, because I don't want to be ripping off anybody else's ideas. Another idea I had, and I have yet to write it, but it's about like a person, like a horror fan that starts to take it too far. He starts to fantasize about, well, what if I become one of these guys that I watch in these movies and that I idolize so much? What if I become a killer? And so he starts to take the fantasy too far. He starts to make plans, and it's a little bit comedic, but it's still horror and serious. As he's getting closer and closer, he's about to do the deed of actually killing someone. He kind of backs out because he doesn't have what it takes. But in that moment, or along the way to that moment, he actually does meet a slasher. Not like Jason or Michael, but like a real life murderer, a slasher. And the slasher starts messing with him. And then framing him and stuff like that. Seems like an interesting idea. I'll have to get that one written down one day. What did you eat for breakfast? Matt Kukla Vlogs asks. That's an interesting question. I'm glad you asked. What happens is I tend to stay up late doing work, and so then I sleep late. I don't like to eat after I've woken up. So I actually don't eat for the first time in the day until dinner time, basically in the evening, 5 or 6 in the evening. That's my first meal. Today, by coincidence, my first meal happened to be breakfast. I had, pardon me, see, I'm still burping it up. I had eggs and sausage and toast and gravy and biscuits. So, yeah, I had breakfast for dinner. Anyway, thanks for the question. There's a question on here from Mucka Mad Boy. Now, this one doesn't appear on the video comments, but it did appear in my Gmail mailbox. So I'm going to answer your question anyway. He says, first of all, I hope you never shut down this channel because you're one of my favorite YouTubers. That's the bomb that you just said that. So I'm glad anybody out there thinks I'm their favorite YouTuber. My question is, when you get the next chance to do a franchise review, would you do the Scream franchise? So yeah, as I've mentioned, I did do the Scream franchise. In fact, that was the very first time that I used the green screen for one of my franchise reviews. It's an older review, so it's not as good as my newer ones, but I've done it, and you know, my opinion would still be the same now as it was back then, so go check it out. Alright, so now we're going to get into the questions about film school and film production and whatnot. John Salisbury asks, what advice would you give me for an amateur filmmaker who wants to make a fan horror film? That's kind of hard for me to answer as far as like a fan horror film goes. I'm not entirely like versed on the laws about what you can or cannot get away with. As far as just making a film goes, you know, it's typical process is you write your script, or you write an outline first. You probably write an outline, then you write your script. There's a lot of other stuff you'll probably want to do, like storyboarding, lining the script for all the things you'll need for each scene, which means you have to know which actors are going to be in each scene, how many actors in each scene, who you're going to need, what props you'll need, what locations you'll need, stuff like that, so that then you can make up a budget. Once you've made a budget and you've got a script and you've got an outline, and you've lined your script, and you have storyboards, then you start looking for financiers, which could be anybody. You know, it could be, I don't know, just anybody that might happen to have some bucks that they want to give you for your film. Now, there's a lot of places you can go, friends and family. You can just contact strangers. You can go straight to people that are actually, that look to fund movies. You can go to the studio. In every case, oh yeah, you can also do crowdfunding, which is a big thing these days, and it's like kind of it's a pretty good thing, in my opinion, that fans and amateur filmmakers have a chance to actually see their vision come to life because of crowdfunding. And in every case, you have to pitch. You have to sell your idea. So you have to have a pitch ready. You have to have all the things you're going to need: the script, storyboards, a budget, just how much money you're going to need and what it's going to go to. You have to have all that stuff ready and just sell your idea and hope that they bite. Don't be discouraged when you get turned down. That happens to the best of them. A lot of your favorite movies were turned down many, many times before somebody decided they were going to take the chance to fund it. So if you believe in your idea, you believe in your vision, just go after it and just keep going after it until somebody says yeah. If you go out there and you look at all the stupid fucking movies that get made, people fund all that shit. So if your idea is even halfway decent, you should go for it because it'll be worth it. What will you do after film school? Focus more on YouTube or bigger projects? Well, I intended for my YouTube channel to be more than it currently is. I mean, I've only just started, I guess. I haven't been doing it all that long. About a year and a half, a little over a year and a half. But yeah, I intended to make this kind of my job and then to do other projects on the side. Even do bigger projects. It would probably be a balance. I don't plan on ever abandoning my channel if I can possibly help it, but I know I'll wind up doing actual movies one day. All my friends and my family are pretty convinced that the moment I graduate film school, I'll suddenly be a wealthy, famous filmmaker, able to take care of everybody. That's pretty much rarely the case. So I don't know. I guess I'll probably do some independent work. It's really hard to say what the future will be for me. I might wind up having to settle for a job, or I might wind up going for something bigger. Probably do some features, some independent stuff. I would like to stick with YouTube and do some stuff on here, and maybe even work with other channels or other sites. I would like to do webisodes of stuff. Especially comedy and horror related stuff. Alright, we're coming up on just about the last one. Rob Zombie is awesome. He says a lot, so I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically he says he's taking classes, he wants to learn more about filmmaking, and so he wanted to hear what I had to say about it, which is what I've been talking about. Let me talk about my school and what it's kind of like, and maybe what you'll want to look for if you're thinking about going to film school. Now, like I said, I'm doing this late in the game. I'm older now. I wish I had started 10, 12 years ago. Would have been better, but I didn't. I was kind of just aimlessly wandering through life for a long time. But anyway, so I just kind of up and did this one day because I decided the clock is ticking, and my degree is an accelerated degree program. It's 3 years instead of 4 or more years. So I was thinking, well, in 3 years from now, I can either have a degree in filmmaking and be on my way to at least trying, or I can just be sitting around doing the same thing I was doing before. So I decided, you know what, it's worth the risk. I'm going for it. My school, I go to Full Sail University online. Yes, I do take film classes online, which is a little bit of a weird thing. The school is pretty good, but people do criticize the costs of it. It is actually expensive. So the school's pretty good. It's kind of expensive. But you do get a lot of cool toys, like a really great camera, this laptop, all sorts of programs that come with it. Seriously, $10,000 worth of equipment, lights, mics, cameras, computer, that you otherwise wouldn't get at most other film schools. A lot of other film schools, you can rent their equipment, but then after that, you're on your own to buy your own. But with Full Sail, they give you a lot of stuff to work with that is yours once you graduate. So that's the plus. So you have to, if that is even an option you're thinking about, just kind of weigh it. It's like, it's expensive, but it's a pretty good school. It's up to you. I would advise you to do your homework on a lot of other places and decide which one you think is best. Let's see. I think we're up here on the last one. How do you fund movies? Do you learn about that in film school? Yeah, I pretty much just talked about that. It's all about getting organized. You just got to get your shit together. You have to write a script, do storyboards. You want to have as much of it organized as possible when you go into pitching your idea to whoever you want to fund your movie, whether that be a studio, independent funder, crowdsourcing, or friends and family. Just do as much as you can and have it as organized and ready to go, so that then you can just lay it all out and be like, here is a movie for you. Do you want to make this or not? And if they don't take it, you go to the next person, do the same thing. So yeah, that's what it's all about. I think I got to all your questions, guys. That's it. Let's wrap this sucker up. It's probably going on for too long. I hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A and the little origins section of the video. I don't know what the future's going to be, like I said in my last video. We'll see. We're in this together, hopefully. I'll be around, even if it's not as often as you'd like. I will be around. And whatever, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. I'm Eric Harrison for F Ingenious, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. F***ing ingenious.